everyone, in today's hug, I'm going to explain why fat is your friend. So last week on our WOW call, Dr. Gloria actually talked a lot about oils that heal. And I alluded to an obesity map and just some research I had done several years ago on this topic about fat. So I decided to do a hug video just to explain everything in greater detail so that you can figure out for yourself what is best for your body, okay? So we know that there are macronutrients, protein, carbohydrates, and fat. We also know that there are fat-soluble vitamins, A, D, E, and K. Now, years back, there was a study called the 7-country study in which the researcher Ansel Keys hypothesized that the countries who had the highest diets of saturated fat had the highest incidence of heart disease. Well, at the time, there was 22 countries with available data. 7 correlated with his hypothesis and 15 didn't. So what did he do? He cherry-picked the data and published a 7-country study. And he just let aside the other 15 countries. So what happened was everybody thought fat's bad. I'm sure you guys remember that. I do. I remember the total non-fat everything. Non-fat cheese, non-fat sour cream, non-fat mayo. Gosh, why bother? I mean, we ate Snackwells and Entenmann's pastries, but they were good for you because there was no fat, so they couldn't make you fat. The premise was that eating fat made you fat. So what do? In order to make food taste good, you have to replace the fat with something, because we all know that butter and olive oil makes everything taste better, right? So what they did was, to make heart-healthy butter, they made margarine, which is made of partially hydrogenated soybean oil and other horrible manufacturer chemical type oils. And I remember my mom buying that tub butter that was, country crock or whatever, and it's all this margarine. And it just wasn't good for us. And here's some scary statistics for you. In 1980, the U.S. ranked 11th in longevity. Today, we are 47th. Crazy, right? And every 34 seconds, someone in the U.S. dies of heart disease, despite the millions of people popping pills for symptoms and taking statin drugs. And of course, avoiding egg yolks and other types of cholesterol because it's not good for you. Americans spend the most per capita on healthcare, yet we are the least healthy country of all the industrialized nations. Those are some scary statistics, and I really feel it started to get bad when we banned fat. Okay? We need fat. Now, I said earlier, vitamins A, D, E, and K need fat. They're fat-soluble vitamins. Okay? So vitamin D, we all know how good it is for our health, and most people don't have enough. The best way to get it, of course, is by being out in the sun. But food sources are important too. Now, K works with D, because what K does is it actually goes out throughout your arteries, and it takes the calcium deposits and shuttles it into your bones, among other things. Okay, so vitamin K is really great for you, but nobody's talking about it for some reason. So the other thing with cholesterol, your body will make cholesterol because you need it. So when you take a drug that shuts the cholesterol supply off, guess what else happens? Well, your hormones go down. And hormones are the fountain of youth, right? We have these beautiful hormones when we're young, in our teens, in our 20s, and then gradually when we hit 30, they go down, 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 right? And then all these age-related diseases might show up. So because from cholesterol comes pregnenolone, and from pregnenolone comes testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, the sex hormones. So we want that, right? At least I hope you say yes. So I'm going to show you now the maps from the CDC. So I'm kind of piecing this together a little bit, but look at what happened starting in the early 80s when we decided to demonize fat. So here's a map from the US, and you're going to see that there's not a lot of data on about half the states. However, the states that show the highest is 14%, and that's only in about 6 states. Okay, so in 86, it's a little bit more. And 87, it's even more. 88, 89. Look at the trend. Everybody's getting fatter. And look, in 91, we have to add a category for 15 to 19%. And it keeps growing and growing and growing. Now, I'm not going to fat shame anyone ever, but obesity is a precursor to many diseases. And look here, now we add another category, greater than 20%. And look at how this is growing. In the year 2000, it's about a third of the country, if not more. And now we add a state with 25% of the people are obese. And that is growing as well. This is preventable, you guys. And now we have 30%. Boy, Colorado's a holdout. And it just is growing. So in 2011, they changed the colors. So the oranges is between 35 and 40%. And the light green is between 20 and 25%. Okay? So let's see how this keeps going. Less green, more orange and red. Now that red is between 40 and 45%. And it is growing and growing. And now we have 45 to 50% in Kentucky and West Virginia. So this is 2021, and my guess is it's just continuing to grow. So obesity can lead to heart disease, cancer, type 2 diabetes, stroke, high blood pressure, osteoarthritis, sleep apnea, asthma, gallbladder disease, gout, and the list goes on. And most experts agree that degenerative disease is highly preventable. The obesity epidemic is the second leading cause of preventable deaths. Now, I honestly feel that so much of it has to do with mental issues, emotional issues, trauma, and using food to cope, like as a medicine or as a drug, because sugar actually is even more addictive than cocaine. It lights up your brain like a pinball machine. All of the neuroreceptors just light up, and it's just like you want more and more and more, right? That's why it's just like you want another hit off of that Oreo cookie or whatever it is. And so I do feel like that needs to be addressed. But when they took out the fat, which creates satiety in your body, it leaves you fuller longer. What happened is they replaced it with sugar, and that just creates a perpetual cycle. And it creates so much inflammation in your body that that's what we want to eliminate. If you were just to take out the sugar out of your diet, I do believe that you will feel so much better. And the inflammation will go down. You will just be able to have more movement, more fluidity in your body, more energy. The goal is to stabilize your blood sugar so you don't have the high highs and the low lows, but that it just kind of rolls ever so gently. And so just be mindful of that, you guys, because when they demonized fat, look what happened. So I just want you to think about that. Fat is not bad for you. God made eggs with yolks for a reason, because they contain choline, and choline is so good for you. And they taste better anyways. Cartons of egg whites taste horrible. A nice fried egg in butter is amazing. I even lick the plate sometimes, but don't tell anybody. Anyway, I just want you to know that fat is your friend, but please look at Dr. Gloria's research and her WOW number, I think it's 17, so you can see which fats are good for you and which are not so good for you, okay? It's a very, very important distinction. And she went into a deep dive on last week's show so that she can really explain why. And also she has a free ebook on what oils are best for what, like what the cooking temperatures are for each oil. And she has so many great resources, you guys. We're so blessed to have her here. Anyway, this is a long one, so I'm going to close with a big, fat, juicy hug and send you so much love on this beautiful day. All right. Mwah. Make it a good one, and we'll talk to you soon.